Imagine a world that is not meant for life, a world where the sun disappears for half a year, plunging everything into darkness, where the temperature drops to -60 degrees Celsius, and where the very ground is drifting, breaking ocean ice. This is the Arctic, the top of our planet, the most hostile and unforgiving environment on Earth. There is no room for mistakes here. Weakness here means instant death. But in this white silence among the icy hummocks and black water lives a giant, a wanderer, a predator with no equal, the polar bear. It is a perfect biological killing machine. It is the only bear on the planet that is officially recognized as a marine mammal. This is a beast that can swim hundreds of kilometers without rest and can smell its prey through a meter-thick layer of ice. Today, we will embark on a journey to the edge of the world. We will learn how evolution created this monster in just 150,000 years. We will examine its anatomy, which allows it to survive where even fuel freezes. And we will answer the main question: does the king of the Arctic have a future if his icy throne keeps melting? The polar bear is a paradox of time. Among all bears, it is the youngest. Paleontology and genetics tell us that about 150 to 500,000 years ago, the polar bear did not exist. Its ancestor is the brown bear. At some point during one of the ice ages, a group of brown bears became isolated in the north of Siberia or Alaska. Cut off from the forest and plant food by the ice, they were faced with a choice: adapt or die. They chose to adapt. Evolution worked at an incredible speed. In a historically short period, the omnivorous brown bear turned into a hyper-carnivorous predator. Its molars became sharp and serrated to tear flesh. Its neck grew longer to keep its head above water while swimming and to pull seals out of breathing holes. Its claws became shorter but thicker and sharper, turning into ice picks for gripping slippery surfaces. Its scientific name is Ursus maritimus, the sea bear. It stands alongside whales and seals because its life depends not on land but on the ocean. The first thing we notice is its dazzlingly white fur. But this is nature's greatest optical illusion. The polar bear has no white pigment. If you take a single hair and look at it under a microscope, you'll see that it is transparent. It is a hollow tube, devoid of color. This structure works like a complex fiber optic system. Light enters the hair, refracts and scatters, creating the appearance of white color. This is the perfect camouflage in the ice. The air inside the hair acts as a thermal insulator. A polar bear's fur retains heat so effectively that the animal becomes invisible to infrared cameras. It hardly emits any heat to the outside. But the main secret lies deeper. If you part this thick fur, you'll see the skin. It is completely black. The nose, lips, eyelids, and the entire body under the fur are black. Why? Black color absorbs solar radiation perfectly. The transparent fur lets ultraviolet rays reach the body, and the black skin eagerly absorbs this heat, acting like a living solar panel. But fur alone isn't enough at -50 degrees. The bear's main protection is fat. The layer of subcutaneous fat can reach up to 11 centimeters thick. It's not just an energy reserve, it's a wetsuit. In icy water that would kill a human in 3 minutes, the bear can swim for days. Its internal temperature remains stable, 37 degrees. In fact, the bear's problem isn't the cold, it's overheating. It is so well insulated that it can't run for long periods. When running actively, it overheats quickly, which is why the polar bear prefers a slow, measured pace. In a world covered in white, vision is often useless. Polar night, fog, blizzards. That's why the bear sees with its nose. Its sense of smell is legendary, considered one of the sharpest in the animal kingdom, surpassing even that of dogs. The mucous membrane of its nose is enlarged and has an extremely complex structure to catch even the slightest scent molecules. The facts are astonishing. It can smell the scent of a decaying whale from 30 kilometers away. But most importantly, it can detect a live seal that is underwater and beneath the ice, even through a whole meter of dense snow and ice. It walks across the endless desert, knowing exactly that a prey is hiding a kilometer away beneath a layer of ice. What does the largest land predator on the planet eat? Its diet is extremely specific. It doesn't need meat, it needs fat. The polar bear is a lipophage, a fat eater. Its main target is the ringed seal. This small seal is the foundation of the entire polar bear ecosystem. Sometimes it hunts the larger bearded seal, also known as the bearded seal. The bear may catch its prey and eat only the skin and the layer of subcutaneous fat, leaving the red meat for Arctic foxes and gulls. Why? Fat is the most calorie-dense fuel. To survive in the Arctic, a bear needs to consume up to 15,000 to 20,000 calories a day. Digesting pure protein requires a lot of energy and water, while fat is absorbed almost completely and provides instant warmth. How do you catch prey that swims faster than you, can see underwater, and might not come up onto the ice for weeks? The answer is simple. You have to wait for the moment when it needs to breathe. A seal is a mammal. It needs air. In winter, the ringed seal gnaws cone-shaped holes or breathing holes in the thick ice. A single seal can have up to 10 or 15 such holes spread over a vast area, and it checks them in a random order. The bear finds such a hole by scent, and the quiet hunt begins. This is the highest expression of patience and self-control. The bear lies down by the hole. He can lie there for an hour, 3 hours, even 10 hours in -40 degrees under a howling wind, absolutely motionless. He knows that any creak of snow, any shadow, will alert the sensitive seal. Sometimes the bear even covers his black nose with his paw to blend in with the snow. He waits for one sound, the sound of an exhale. As soon as the water in the breathing hole starts to ripple from the seal's breath, the strike follows. At that moment, he is no longer a slow giant, he is lightning. With a single lunge, using the monstrous strength of his neck and shoulders, the bear flings the 70-kilogram body onto the ice. The seal has no chance. Death comes instantly. But in spring and summer, the tactics change. Seals come out onto the ice to bask in the sun and molt. It seems like the prey is easy to get, doesn't it? No, a seal always lies at the edge of the ice floe, ready to dive at the slightest sign of danger, and wakes up every 30 seconds to look around. Here, the bear switches to water stalker mode. He slips into the water hundreds of meters away from his prey. In the water, he becomes invisible. He swims with only his nose and eyes above the surface. To avoid making ripples and splashes, he doesn't paddle with his front paws as usual. Instead, he paddles only with his hind legs deep underwater. He swims like a log drifting with the current. When the seal lifts its head, the bear freezes and simply drifts. When the seal falls asleep, the bear makes a dash. Reaching the very edge of the ice floe, he bursts out of the water in an incredible leap, cutting off the seal's escape route. It's a chess game where the price of losing is hunger. When there are no seals, hunger drives the bear to madness. He decides to attack prey that is bigger and stronger than himself, a walrus. An adult walrus weighs 1.5 tons, which is 3 times more than a bear. Its hide is 5 centimeters of armor that's hard to bite through, and its tusks are half-meter-long daggers capable of ripping a bear right through with a single strike. Hunting a walrus isn't a quiet kill, it's a gladiatorial fight. A bear can't kill an adult walrus in the water. He looks for a hole out on land. His tactic is panic. The bear charges into the herd, forcing hundreds of bodies to move toward the water. He looks for the weak, the sick, or those who might be crushed in the stampede. But if the walrus's turn to fight, the bear often retreats. The risk of being struck by a tusk is too great. A single missed blow means a slow death from the wound. We call him a bear, but anatomically, he is a swimmer. His paws are like paddles. His front feet reach 30 centimeters wide and have webbing between the toes. No other bear has this feature. His bones are more porous than those of a brown bear, which improves his buoyancy. The polar bear is capable of incredible marathons. Science has recorded a case where a female bear swam 687 kilometers without stopping. She swam for 9 days straight without sleep or food in icy water. She lost 22% of her body weight and her cub, but she survived. This is an enormous display of endurance which shows just how harsh their world is. Sometimes the ice drifts so far away that they have to swim through storms just to find solid ground. The polar bear is not just a solitary predator, it is a provider for the entire Arctic. He kills more than he can eat. As we remember, the bear often eats only the fat. Mountains of red meat are left on the ice. And this is where the king's entourage comes onto the scene: Arctic foxes, polar foxes, and ivory gulls. In winter, when the entire tundra is covered in snow, the foxes have nothing to eat. Their only salvation is to follow the master. A single seal killed by a bear can feed not only the giant himself, but also a dozen foxes and hundreds of birds. Without the polar bear, the entire Arctic food chain would collapse. He is the heart that pumps energy through the icy desert. We are used to thinking that bears sleep in their dens during winter. That's true for brown bears. But with polar bears, it's different. Only pregnant females go into true hibernation. Males and young females stay active all winter. For them, winter isn't a time for sleep, it's the best time for hunting. The ice is strong and there are plenty of seals. Why sleep when the buffet is open? But they have a superpower. If a storm comes and lasts for a week, or if there's no food, they can enter a state of walking hibernation. They don't sleep, they keep moving, but their metabolism slows down as if they were asleep. They recycle their own urea back into protein without losing muscle mass. This is a unique mechanism that medicine dreams of unraveling to use for treating people. The life of males is all about hunting and fighting, but the life of females is a true feat. Mating happens in the spring, but the embryo doesn't start developing right away. Polar bears have a unique mechanism, delayed implantation. The female's body puts the pregnancy on pause. It waits for autumn. If by autumn the female has gained enough fat, at least 200 kilograms in weight, the embryo will attach and begin to grow. If she has been starving, the pregnancy will be reabsorbed. Nature will not allow offspring to be born if the mother doesn't have the resources. In autumn, the pregnant female goes ashore, often to islands, for example, to Wrangel Island, which is called the maternity ward of bears. She digs a den in the snow and goes into hibernation. In the midst of the polar winter, in January, a miracle happens. The cubs are born. They are shockingly small. A newborn weighs 500 grams. It is the size of a guinea pig, blind, deaf, and almost hairless. Next to its 300-kilogram mother, it looks like a grain of sand. For the next 3 to 4 months, the mother works like a living factory. She feeds them milk that is 10 times fattier than cow's milk, about 30% fat. The cubs grow at an incredible rate, while the mother starves. She does not eat or drink for up to 6 months. She survives solely on her own fat, converting it into milk. She loses half her body weight, giving herself completely to her cubs. In the spring, the family leaves the den, but the Arctic does not forgive weakness. The main threat to the cubs is not the cold or hunger. It is adult male polar bears. Males see the cubs as easy prey. Moreover, if the female loses her cubs, she will be ready to mate again. That is why the mother is always on guard. She will fight to the death for her cubs, even if her opponent is twice her size. This is why females with cubs try to stay away from hunting grounds where large males roam. They choose poorer lands just to keep their offspring alive. For most animals, summer is a celebration. For the polar bear, summer is hell. When the ice melts completely, the bears are trapped on shore. It is impossible to hunt seals in open water. This is the time of walking hibernation. The bear's metabolism slows down, it becomes sluggish, and it hardly eats at all. Sometimes they try to eat berries, seaweed, bird eggs, or rummage through garbage near human settlements. But these are mere scraps for a body that needs thousands of calories. They survive on the fat they accumulated during the winter. They wait, they wait for the sea to freeze over again, and each year the wait gets longer. We've come to the main point. The fate of the polar bear is written on the ice. Scientists have recorded that the Arctic is warming twice, and in some places even 3 times faster than the rest of the planet. It freezes later, and the ice melts earlier. The hunting season is shortened by 3 to 4 weeks. For the bear, this means losing dozens of kilograms of critically important fat. Females emerge from their dens more emaciated, and they have less milk. Cubs are born weaker and die more often. The forecasts are grim. If the rate of melting continues, by 2050 the polar bear population could decrease by 30 to 50%. They can't just move to land. On land, the brown grizzly bear reigns, pushing out its polar cousin. The polar bear needs ice. Without it, he is a king without a kingdom. The polar bear is a masterpiece of nature. It is a creature that has learned to thrive where death reigns. He has turned the cold into his ally. He has turned darkness into his advantage. He is living proof of the incredible power of life, but he is also a living indicator of the health of our planet. His fate is a mirror that reflects our own future. The melting of his home is a warning signal for all of us. For now, he is still here. The ghost of the ice still roams his endless white empire, and it is within our power to ensure that his tracks in the snow do not disappear forever. Thank you for making this long journey north with us. This was the story of the polar bear, a story of strength, solitude, and an incredible will to live. Our planet is full of such stories. In the jungles, in the depths of the ocean, and on mountain peaks, there are creatures about whom we know unacceptably little, and we will continue to tell their stories. If this video made you see the ruler of the Arctic in a new light, support our channel by subscribing and liking. It is very important for us to know whether we managed to change your perception of this animal. Share your thoughts in the comments. There are still many discoveries ahead. See you again in the world of wildlife.